And then guys, welcome, Dine at Home, your cook along week for week, is it 3 I think of March. Thank you to everybody who has again purchased a box for this sellout week again. Absolutely delighted guys with all your support as always, so a nice quick thank you to each and every one of you. And I hope that this video enlightens you into how to reheat your box at home, but also if you do enjoy the video and more importantly the food as well, please make sure you tell everyone about us and get booking a box for them as well. So without further ado guys, let's crack on with this week's box. Any newcomers that are having a box this weekend, we have our signature loaf, which is a tear and share. We often change the actual flour a bit. Sometimes it's a multi-seed, sometimes it's a granary. This time it is a beautiful Cotswold country, which is the flour, white loaf, absolutely beautiful. Have a little search on those. Cotswold flour, obviously it's local to us, and the flour is delicious, really good. So that's the bread, goes into an oven at 180 degrees for 5 minutes, and basically the outside will become nice and crisp, nice and crunchy, which obviously a beautiful fresh loaf, and then inside will be nice and sort of fluffy inside, which is delicious. And then there's your Marmite butter, which is again a signature product of Dine at Home and us, which obviously when your box arrives, leave that at room temperature, so it comes nice and soft within your meal, and will go with your bread beautifully as well. So that is your bread, your first taste of this week's box out of the way. Onto your starter. So we've done, I think this is our third samosa that we've done in the entirety of, we've nearly been going a year, which is absolutely crazy. This is the third time we've done a samosa. We absolutely, well, me and Mikey, we absolutely love doing the samosas. We pack a load of flavour into them. We've done a lamb one before, we've done a vegetarian one before. This one is a lamb one. The vegetarian option is a potato one, which is absolutely delicious, cooked and reheated the exact same way for you at home. So I'm going to show you the lamb one today, or for this video, but again guys, you can reheat it the exact same way if you're vegetarian. So in your box you'll have either one or two, obviously, which is a lovely samosa, absolutely packed full of filling. Obviously the pastry will be quite soft when you get it, because obviously it's been refrigerated. And with the accompaniment for this starter, this is obviously all for one person here, so if you're sharing it'll obviously be double the size. So you have a beautiful cucumber and green bean salad. The green bean will start to slightly discolour simply because of the pickled cucumber. You've got absolutely nothing to worry about that. It will take on that beautiful pickle flavour, which is a necessity within this starter because it is quite rich, and the acidity will cut through quite beautifully. Along with that, you've got a beautiful tomato and aubergine relish, one of my favourite relishes to make. We just literally stew down the tomatoes and aubergines until they come to like a sort of compote sort of consistency. That's spiced with some cumin and coriander and some other little spices in there as well. And then quite simply, it's a delicious mint yogurt. So we blend the mint into a puree and then simply bind that with some Greek yogurt. As you can see, there's a little bit of residue that comes off the yogurt. That's essentially a little bit of the liquid that's come off of the yogurt itself, but just mix that back into the yogurt and it'll be absolutely delicious. Super simple to reheat, guys. You can have your aubergine relish, your tomato and aubergine relish at room temperature, or you can very gently heat it. I'm going to have it at room temperature today for the video, but if you want to reheat it, microwave is absolutely fine for 20-30 seconds, just take the edge off. Your salad, again, it's got the pickle liquor in there, which I think is enough. If you would like just to dress it very gently with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and some salt, I'd highly recommend that if you would like to. And then obviously with your yogurt, just keep that as exactly how it is. Just mix the whey, that's what I was looking for. Mix the whey back into the yogurt. And as for your for either or samosa, into the oven for between 6 to 8 minutes. So it'll probably be 6 minutes in my professional oven, but at home 8, maybe even 10 minutes. Just do the old school, knife in the centre, pop it onto your bottom lip. If it's boiling hot, let's go. If it's not, pop it back in, because essentially it's raw. Essentially it's lamb and it needs to be reheated, okay? So please make sure it needs to be cooked before you eat it. Do not eat this cold, you'll get an upset stomach. Make sure you heat it for 8 to 10 minutes until piping hot. So I'm going to pop that in the oven for 6 to 7 minutes here. Join me in 6 to 7 minutes, and we will then put the whole starter together once it's come out of the oven. So I'll see you shortly, guys. Okay guys, so my 7-minute timer has just gone off on the oven. I have just opened it and it is beautifully reheated, so it's nice and steamed almost in the middle, which all comes all nice and sort of puffy up, and the outside is super crispy. So as you see, the samosa smell is just absolutely delicious. The same spice mix has been applied to the vegetarian one as well, so it will taste essentially exactly the same, other than obviously the lamb. And yeah, so as soon as it goes nice and crispy on the outside, you just know that you're going to be in for an absolute treat. Right, okay, so I'll show you how to plate it, but equally first at the same time I'll show you how to dress your salad, or how I would dress the salad, and then we'll go about putting it onto a plate, and hopefully you guys enjoying eating it and enjoying it. So into a little pan, I've just into the little bowl, so I've just obviously added the pickled cucumber and the green beans, a little drizzle of a good quality extra virgin olive oil, and a little pinch of Maldon sea salt on there, and that'll be absolutely perfect. As you can see, the green beans have slightly started to this colour. That's all that's down to is just the pickle, as I said, explained earlier. The pickle on the cucumber. That's all it is. So mix that together. So that's a nice little pickled element. That's all ready to go. So the yogurt's ready to go. The relish I've kept at room temperature, and it's all about your delicious samosa. So again, guys, it's totally up to you. Obviously, how you want to plate it. It's obviously quite a big samosa. I'm going to put that just off centre, to the left hand side, and I'm going to put sort of almost like an accompaniment, if you will. So you've got a nice spoonful of the relish. So you guys get your quinelling skills out. I'm just going to put a nice little spoon on the side there. Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. And there's a little bit less yogurt. If the water, which is called whey, if the whey has just come out of the yogurt slightly, it will be super thick. So to be fair, it needs that whey knocking back into it to turn it back into a yogurt. Do a nice little spoon there just behind it. Super fresh. And then the green bean and cucumber salad, plate it however you like. I like to put that on top of the samosa itself, so it entices you to sort of delve into that first, and then have the accompaniments with it. And there we are, guys. There's your starter of your beautiful spiced tandoori spiced lamb samosa with your lightly spiced aubergine tomato relish, and your cucumber and mint yogurt, and your lovely little crisp salad of green beans and pickled cucumber. Guys, enjoy your starter. Enjoy me after that for your main course of your blade of beef. Okay, guys, so hopefully you were suitably impressed with your starter, and we're going to progress on to our main course of delicious blade of beef, which is one of my favourite cuts. We normally make like a parsley pesto, but Mikey went wild garlic picking on Monday afternoon, so obviously the accompaniment for this garnish is wild garlic pesto, and also we've made some oil and cooked the potatoes in wild garlic oil as well. So we thought we may as well make a nice wild garlic sort of rub to go around the blade of beef as well. So that's exactly what we've done. So with the blade of beef, we just cooked it for 24 hours in the water bath at 75 degrees. It won't look like anything like wild garlic, but there's some dark bits that you can see. That's essentially the wild garlic leaf that's still attached to itself, but it's more from a fragrance perspective, so you'll sort of taste it when you do eat it, as opposed to actually physically seeing it. Okay, so I'll go through the garnish with you and how the best way how to reheat them. So if you want to pan down onto the tray, and I can go through absolutely everything with you. So you'll have a little pot of charred broccoli. We've lightly charred those simply because they're still raw, so we want you to finish those, obviously those off in the cooking. And then you have some beautiful confit onions that have been cooked in beef fat, your beef sauce, which is obviously absolutely delicious, your beautiful pesto, which is super strong. So that's literally just to go with the dish itself, which I'll show you on plating. And then obviously your ratte potatoes have actually been pre-cooked in your wild garlic oil, and I'll definitely keep hold of your wild garlic oil. But again, I'll show you all that when we come to reheat it. So super simple to reheat, guys. It's all a bit of a tray job, really. So get some good quality greaseproof paper. Pop your blade of beef. If you want to stand it up, or you can rest it down. It's totally up to you. I'm going to rest it down. A little knob of butter on top of that there. Obviously, if it's cold butter, it will stick to it just like that, which is absolutely perfect. And then we're going to place the potatoes in a pan of simmering water, and then we're just going to slice that open. I'm going to pop it into the same tray as my broccoli, and we're going to reheat those just very gently in a pan. And the reason being is because we just want to add a little bit of colour to the confit onions, which little pickling onions they are. So we'll add all that beef fat in there as well, and I'll show you exactly how to cook it. a little bit of butter in there as well. Pesto is room temperature, and guys, obviously with your beef sauce, you know exactly how to reheat both of those, or reheat the sauce obviously in a pan. Don't boil it don't heavily boil it too much. You just want to sort of bring it up and then take it off. We want to do that sort of last minute. So I'm going to leave my tray of beef there. I'm going to add the onion and the broccoli to that for the oven. But at the moment, I'm just going to show you how to reheat the onions and potatoes and broccoli. So come on over. For this, guys, I'm going to place the beef in the oven. It's 180 degrees. And that's going to take about 10 to 12 minutes to reheat. I think on the instructions I put to sort of place that in there and then start your garnish, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So I've just misinterpreted there. So I'm going to start my garnish now. My beef's in. And hopefully I'll just put it on for 6 minutes. So hopefully after 6 minutes I'll be done on the garnish and I can add that to it. If you've done before, don't worry at all. Just obviously leave it on the side, wait for your 6 minutes to be up and put that in. If you're done afterwards, again, don't panic too much. I'd probably recommend to finish the cooking all in the pan, because we're only adding colour at this stage, but if you want to continue to cook them in the pan, you absolutely can do as well. It's totally up to you. So with your potatoes, straight in simming water, that'll probably take about 6 to 8 minutes to get fully hot, but for the benefit of the video, we're going to put them in straight away. My pan's been on for about 3 to 4 minutes, basically since I've been talking. So with the beef fat, put that straight in. You'll feel and hear that sizzle almost straight away. I use a really good base bottom pan. That isn't burning, by the way. That's literally just the oil, the water, the natural water from the onions that will colour almost straight away. So put all the remaining beef fat in, and you'll see start to separate. You can start to see straight away. See that they just start to colour. We just want to colour those up, and I said it's super quick. You want to colour those up in that beef fat. Get a little bit of colour on them. Alternatively, you can place them straight into the tray with your beef, and they'll colour up beautifully as well. So as soon as they're coloured, which they are, super quick. The pan I'm using is a super good pan. It's obviously got a double bottom base. Broccoli in. And the whole reason for this, I'm just going to turn off the heat. The whhole reason for doing this in such a hot pan and equally with the beef fat is to get that beefy flavour into them. Again, I'll put the charred broccoli on, because I knew exactly the reason why we kept it raw is because I knew exactly how we're going to obviously reheat them. We're going to show it a really aggressive pan, so if it's already cooked, it's going to just wilt and turn to nothing. So we're going to pop those in. I'll place a little bit of salt on there. There we are, just like that, and then a little bit of pepper. And that is perfect, and that will be it. That is all we're going to do. So if you can see on the pan in there, we've just got the beautiful coloured onions, the beautiful broccoli. We're going to place that onto a tray, and then we're going to wait for the 6 minutes. For the 6 minutes to be up in the oven. As soon as that 6 minutes, we're only 2 minutes in, so super quick on that. So as soon as the 6 minutes is up, I'll then open that up, put that in, and that will take between 4 to 6 minutes to reheat. That's it. So we're all pretty much ready to go. So if you have the confidence to leave me to it, join me after all this will be ready and cooked. So literally in 4 minutes, that timer goes off. I'll put that tray in. I'll then put another 6 minute timer on. As soon as that's done, I'll take both trays out, and then we cook. And then we plate. Yeah, I'm getting mixed up there. And then we plate. Alright, so your potatoes will be done, your broccoli, your onions, your beef will be done, your pestos are room temperature, and we just need to reheat the sauce. That's it. Super simple. So join me once you've done all that, guys, and then we'll go through the plating with you. Okay, guys, so the timer, second timer of 6 minutes has just gone off in the oven. So I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to showcase exactly how I will plate it. Again, the joy of these boxes, you can plate them however you like. I've taken my potatoes out of the hot water, so they're all completely reheated, literally just. So they've had a good sort of 8 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes. And the broccoli is done beautifully. And you sort of see, this is, again, the broccoli is totally up to you, but you can see now it's completely roasted. Both the onions and the broccoli, they are pre-cooked. They come to you, essentially the onions are completely pre-cooked, and the broccoli, sorry, is pre-charred. So it's essentially, it's totally up to you how you want to reheat them. I would recommend doing it this way because I personally like roasted broccoli. But if you would prefer it a little less harsh or a little less roasted, just do the just leave them in the pan and just let them reheat in the pan. It's absolutely fine. So there's your blade of beef, super soft. You can see that sort of almost flaking where they are. It's flaked completely off. You may see the butter's obviously melted, but you may also see a little taint of green in your fat as it comes off, and that's obviously down to the wild garlic rub that we put onto it. So other than that, the sauce is on. That's actually come up to heat now. So I'll just knock that off, or not that to just the corner, so it's just ticking over. And obviously my pesto is also room temperature as well. Plating wise, with the pesto, I was just going to put a little spoonful on the bottom and sit my blade of beef on top, because I really want to encourage you to get that wild garlic flavour through the beef. But again, you can put it on the side if you're a little bit too hesitant on the sharpness or the strength of it. So pan down, and we'll have a good look at the plating. But again, as I said, and I stand by this, the whole idea of Dine at Home is that you essentially have the confidence to plate and to reheat it how you would like to do it. So with your potatoes, like I said previously, just be very careful, because we'll dress the plate with the oil that it comes out of. These are pre-seasoned, okay? The potatoes are completely pre-seasoned, so you shouldn't need to add any more salt to the dish at all. But if you are a fan of salt, then maybe you want to. So pop the beef just on top of that. Again, with your potatoes, you can cut them if you would like to. I'm purposely going to leave them whole. Just there in there. As I said, these are completely cooked, so they will just break. They feel quite firm, but they will just completely break up the moment you go into them. And then place your onions to the side as well. So it's 3 each of the onions. There might be a couple of larger onions, so you may have 2, depending on size. We don't want to overload you with that. And then your broccoli. Keep it nice and tight. Always say that on the instructions, simply because it encourages you to eat it together, and equally puts more of the elements of this dish on your fork or spoon. So with the onion, the wild garlic, sorry, oil to spoon all that beautifully over, and essentially your sauce, when we sauce it now, will split into that, and it will just leave a beautiful residue of green and brown sauce, which is just delicious. Don't be shy, that smell of that is absolutely lovely. And there we are, a nice little winter warmer. I appreciate it's spring, but the temperature's definitely not hot. So there we are, guys, your beautiful blade of beef with your wild garlic pesto that's literally picked up the road in London, then your charred broccoli, caramelised onions cooked in beef fat, and then your beautiful ratte potatoes cooked in wild garlic, finished off with a delicious beef sauce. Guys, I hope you enjoy that. Join me after this for your dessert. See you in a bit. Okay guys, so hopefully you enjoyed the main course. Beautiful fresh wild garlic with the whole dish, carries it really well. I thought the potatoes were really nice in the wild garlic as well, so hopefully you did too. So guys, first for the Dine at Home, we've done rice pudding before, but this is I recommend on the instructions to heat it, equally bake it in the oven, which I'd highly recommend. But equally, if you're not too confident about that, you can do it on the stove, really gently and really slowly. Please do, because it's super thick and creamy. But also you can do it in the microwave for 30 to 40 seconds if you'd also like to as well. But I would definitely recommend giving it a go and placing it in the oven, so it gets a bit of a baked sort of rice pudding feel to it. So you'll get beautiful orange and vanilla scented rice pudding, which we then we actually make a sabayon, which is essentially a thick sort of custard, and then we band that back through it as well, so it's even richer. You've got a beautiful runny orange honey, which does require a little bit of a mix. You've got a beautiful Garibaldi biscuit crumble. I love Garibaldi, again really rich in vanilla. And then you've got, to sort of contrast all the sort of rich vanilla-iness, we've got a beautiful blackcurrant ice cream in there as well, which that's for you guys at home, so I will spoon a particular piece on. So guys, super simple. Everything obviously is, well, say everything, bar the rice pudding, everything's at room temperature by the ice cream. The rice pudding I recommend to heat, but again, you can have it cold, obviously, or at room temperature. The honey and the crumble is at room temperature. I'm going to very simply place this into an oven-proof dish. This is obviously for one person, so the pot that you get if you are sharing, please make sure you share it. So that just goes into your oven-proof bowl. Try and make it reasonably flat. And we'll just simply clean the outside, pop it onto a tray, and that goes into the oven at 160, 180 for about 4 to 5 minutes just to bake the top of it. You can essentially also put it under the grill just to get a bit of a creme brulee effect on top. sprinkle it with sugar if you'd like to, but personally I think it's sweet and tasty enough. Pop it into the oven, 160 to 180 for about 5 minutes, just until you get that nice baked sort of flavour, baked sort of look and flavour. And I'll bring it out and I'll go through the plating with you straight after. See you in a bit, guys. Okay guys, so the timer's just gone off. I'll put it on for 6 minutes for the rice pudding, and if I get it out straight away, you will see that it's beautifully. So you should, can't really angle it too well, you should be able to see it also bubbling on the outside. It's a proper baked rice pudding there, which again I think is just delicious. So how you put the 3 accompaniments on is totally up to you. I'm going to just place a little bit of Garibaldi biscuit straight on top, just like that. That has a look at it. Put it all on. Why not? It's date night after all. And then your little pluche, your little spoon of blackcurrant ice cream, which is quick becoming one of my favourite ice creams, just because it is just super. It's quite unusual to have a blackcurrant ice cream, but I just think it just goes so well. It's adding that sort of fruit element to the dessert, which I think goes, obviously fruit goes really well with rice pudding. Normally rhubarb, or people do that. And then with there, you've got beautiful orange zest all through the honey. Runny honey. If you want it obviously a bit more set, just pop it into the, pop it into the fridge and get it straight out of the fridge. But you want all that on there. To be fair, it will just give a beautiful contrast. Taste beautiful. And then move it over. There, got asbestos hands. And there is a beautiful little pot of joy in your dessert to finish off your meal. Baked rice pudding, seasoned with some orange zest and vanilla, Garibaldi biscuit crumb on top, blackcurrant ice cream, and your delicious orange honey syrup to finish it all off. And after you've enjoyed that, we've got a beautiful fudge, which is your dine at home fudge, which obviously you know. I do recommend to add a little bit of salt to it. There's no salt in the recipe, and chocolate and salt goes really well together, but again, it's not a necessity. Just enjoy it with a little drink after your meal, and that'll go down wonderfully. And guys, I hope that the step-by-step guide has helped you with your meal this evening, or whenever obviously you choose to eat it. And more importantly, I really hope that you've enjoyed the food as well. And I said, if you have, please continue to tag us in, or tag me and Dine at Home, sort of Supper Club in all your recreations. And equally, if you're so happy to pass our name and number on to other people who you know this would be of interest, that's hugely grateful as well. So guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend. We'll see you same time, same place next week for the Ollie Martin takeover, and our Easter Sunday box is available as well. I think we've sold about 50 boxes already. So if you are wanting to get that for Easter Sunday, please make sure you book rather soon. Guys, have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe and eat well, and dine at home.